Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 13 of Season 2 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the longest race of the season, the Coca-Cola 600 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're getting ready for 60 laps of racing here at this crazy mile-and-a-half track where we have seen in online series in the past crazy moments, whether it be finishes, strategy moments, or crazy wrecks. But before we look at the lineup, let's actually look at the point standings as we are back from a one-week hiatus to get certain things prepared, not only for this season, but actually for next season. So, to continue on, the point standings, after the last points race we ran at Phoenix, I believe, Rafael Leduc's points lead has continued to be chipped away as he only leads by 7 points coming in this week over second place Anthony McCrory. Third is Chris Michaels, fourth Emmanuel Hartnett, fifth Nelson Thornhill, sixth Dorian Facepuncher, seventh Charles Sanford, eighth Grayson Acevedo, ninth Seth Cole, and 10th Trent Dunham. Rest of the top 20 is DJ Curtis, James Qualls, JT Bryant, Nathaniel Reed, Joshua Sekuli, Matt McIntyre, Austin LaPlante, Sean Galligan, Kev Shearer, and Mark Lane. So with that said, let's take a look at the starting lineup. So starting in the last row are Reed Rowden and Nathaniel Reed, who didn't put out a qualifying time, which is very, very unusual. And James Qualls had a slower qualifying lap. Maybe someone went up with their cars during qualifying. But let's look at the top 10 in the lineup. Rafael Leduc, the points leader, starting on the pole, and starting next to him is Carson Gum. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness, Carl Edwards' car is in the front row. The fact that that just happened means only one thing: you must grab 2 of each animal and head for the border. Anyways, now that I got that gag out of the way. Meanwhile, row 2, we have Angel Oliveira and Jessica Shelton. Row 3, we have Dylan Young, who's making his first start in a little while, starting next to Dougie Shears. Row 4, Seth Cole, Dorian Facepuncher. And then row 5, we have Emmanuel Hartnett and Trent Dunham. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Coke 600 at Charlotte.
Drivers, start your engines!
That sounds like a less accented version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, with that being said, we're getting ready for the one pace lap around the racetrack. So like I said, with this racetrack, it has been known in other offline series for crazy moments, whether it be last lap battles or pit strategy coming into play, but mostly for crazy wrecks. I remember we've had quite a few on this channel with the Walmart Cup Series in the past. If I recall, I believe it was Season 6 in the Walmart Cup. Back here on this back straightaway, that inside safer barrier was a crazy accident with Jessica Shelton and Chase Oliver, where they went flying into the air, and Chase Oliver went really high up into the air going into turn 1. And then, of course, there's sometimes the glitch spot where the cars, when they're wrecking on the front stretch, sink through the pavement, the asphalt, and go flying all the way up towards the space-time continuum and so on and so forth. Hopefully we don't have any of that tonight. Pace car pulling in the pit road, which means only one thing: it's time to go boogity 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 racing. Well, Rafael Leduc led the first lap, but we had a caution. We had a wreck happen. It looked like it was with Matt McIntyre, Charles Sanford, 7th in points, Joshua Collard, Nelson Thornhill, Sean Galligan, Maybe Nathaniel Reed was in it. Maybe Zach Rogers. And now cars are running into each other a little bit, but they seem to be getting it together. But yeah, our first caution is out on lap 1, and now the leaders and everybody's coming into pit road. And like I was going to say, they're going to have to pit quite a few times tonight here for this long race, as Rafael Leduc leads the entire field down pit road. So we're going to see what strategy these drivers are going to pull. Let's see what Rafael Leduc, among the others up at the front, are going to do as far as pit strategy. It looks like only gas only for everyone. And Rafael Leduc's going to come out as your leader with the advantage of having a number 1 pit stall. Then it's going to be Angel Alvera second, Dorian Facepuncher third, Emmanuel Hartnett fourth, and Jonathan Zorline fifth as the top 5 when we get back racing. But let's look and see what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Charlotte. Well, here's a look at what happened. Watch the 24 of Matt McIntyre and Chris Dollarton into 23. It looks like the 24 just completely runs up into the 23, and that's what's going to start all this mess. But keep an eye on the 78. He gets forced into the apron and has no control, comes up into Zach Rogers, and they both go into the outside wall. And here I thought Thornhill could have been okay to finish the race, but then watch as cars and traffic's going to come into the play. Joshua Collard hard hit into that right front wheel, and then Collard's teammate Galligan big hit into the rear end, and that actually sent the 78 airborne. So both of the Richard Petty Motorsports cars just ended up collecting themselves into the mess. And then we're going to look and see what happened when the 24 came back up the racetrack after starting this whole thing. He gets spun off the bumper of his teammate Austin LaPlante up into Charles Sanford. Matt Haas with a little piece of it. Galligan was already involved in it a little bit. Reed Rylden got a little hit in there, but he somehow, someway managed to keep it straight and keep it going. Now, did Nathaniel Reed actually get through? I think he actually did get through. Let's actually go to helicopter view to watch the 88 of Nathaniel Reed, who was running right on the back bumper of James Qualls as all this contact was taking place. James Qualls, how in the world? Those are two guys who nearly got involved and somehow, someway avoided it. So I guess if we had an Allstate Good Hands driver of the race award, it would go to both the 88 and the 70, because watch both of these guys. I have no idea how they didn't get hit. As the 03 of Sanford comes down, watch Qualls. Just, you couldn't even fit a piece of paper through there, and same with the 88. Good golly, Sanford got lucky that he didn't get hit twice and completely destroy his car. As there you see the aftermath with the 43 and the 78, and then Galligan coming in to Thornhill's back bumper and completely destroying his car. And Nathaniel Reed actually gets through the carnage with the 78 as well, so good job for him to avoid two different parts of the wreck. But anyways, let's go ahead and take you to the restart here in the Coke 600 at Charlotte. Well, after that first caution, we have 4 cars out of the race, and they include Nelson Thornhill, Charles Sanford, Sean Galligan, and Joshua Collard. Matt McIntyre will be up here 1 lap down, so this is going to be an interesting restart. Anyways, after everyone pitted, Rafael Leduc, the points leader, is the race leader. Second is Angel Alvera. Third is Dorian Facepuncher. Fourth is Emmanuel Hartnett. Fifth is Jonathan Zorline. Sixth is Cole Deaver. Seventh is Kev Shearer. Eighth is Carson Gum. Ninth is Ashland Boyd. And then 10th, Dougie Shears. 11th is Johnny Gardner. 12th is Mark Lane. 13th, Chris Dollarton. 14th, Phil Parker. 15th, Dylan Young. 16th, Dylan Poteet. 17th is David Rivera. 18th, JT Bryant. 19th, Jesse King. 20th, Dylan Thoreau. And I think that's all of the field we're going to be able to get to for now, since we're getting ready to go back racing with 55 laps to go. Long way to go here in this race, and the green flag is back out. But I think I'm going to keep my eye out on that 24 of Matt McIntyre since he started that crash and he's off the pace and damage. So you got to wonder what's going to happen with this as they are getting really scrambled up because of having to contend with this slower car. The whole bottom lane's getting held up as a result, so that top line starting to prevail a little bit, but now they're going to finally split it up. But that's a tough break for those guys, the 56, the 2, the 6, 22, 41, 55, who ended up getting held up because of this. As now the field's gotten kind of spread out, and I see no hood on Trent Dunham's car. He must have ran into the back of somebody on pit road, and I got a feeling it was probably with Jessica Sheldon because she's got rear end damage. So I got a feeling they ended up making contact on pit road. But back up here at the front, Dorian Face Puncher is your race leader. Look at the speeds they're going. They are going really fast and barely using brakes, if at all. But Dorian Face Puncher was the leader and led the lap, but now Jonathan Zorleen is up to the front and leads that lap. Excuse me. As they are going at it really quickly here at this racetrack, as the 5 is up in the front. Then you got Kev Shearer, who's about to make a move to the bottom. Carson Gum, who's not been in a lot of races over the past few weeks after he fell out of the top 30 in the point standings. This is his first start in quite a while, and Zorleen actually scraped the wall a little bit, but he's still keeping pace. But anyways, Carson Gum, like I was saying, hasn't been in a race in quite a couple of weeks, so we're going to see how he can do in his first start in quite a while, as he's up here in second right behind Kev Shearer. Oh, and I apologize for that little freeze up right there. And again, right there. Trying to get things back in order. But anyways, Kev Shearer, I was going to say, who won a race earlier this year. 19th in the points after a tough race at Phoenix. As we are all still recovering from All-Star break back over a week ago at Dragonette. But Shearer's up here at the front, and then you got Zorleen right behind him. Rafael Leduc, who led a little bit early on and started on the pole back in third, and now we got battle between Angel Oliveira and Dougie Shears, and that's for fourth, and then Johnny Gardner is going to enter the fray as well. Carson Gum and his teammate Emmanuel Hartnett all right beside each other. Cole Deaver in the 92. This is his first start in a little while as well. And he's running up here in the top 10. So good run going for that rookie in Rockstar Racing. Back up the front, Kev Shearer still holding off, charging Jonathan Zorleen and Rafael Leduc, more or less Leduc, because he is caught up to both of these guys, but they're keeping it single file up here. Maybe kind of try to preserve a little bit of gas, because remember, pit strategy is a huge deal here at this racetrack, as it's now a 4-car train up here at the front, and now it's going to get split a little bit, as here comes Johnny Gardner in 15 with a run underneath of the points leader, and now up goes Gardner, and now here comes Carson Gum, who had to back out of throttle a little bit to keep from running into the 99, and now he's going to get a run on the inside. And how about David Rivera? We saw him a little bit ago get held up by the slower lap machine of Matt McIntyre. Now all of a sudden he's up here in the top 10. Where in the world did he come from? And they're not that far away from Matt McIntyre again, as he's going into turn 3 at only 195 or less miles per hour. So yeah, you can tell he's very, very slow. But anyways, the top 3 are all still right on each other with Shearer, Gardner, and Zorleen. But now they're going to catch Matt McIntyre, so you got to wonder, is this going to affect how these leaders are going to race for a little bit? Well, they've had to slow up quite a lot, and that's going to bring everyone else right back up to the back bumper of the 12 as they are still getting held up. Now he split it. But now let's go back to watching the 24 to keep an eye on him to make sure he doesn't cause anything again. And now that high line's getting held up, and Zorline, who was in third, is now losing a lot of spots as a result of being held up by that 24. So not a lot of people are going to be happy with that 24 car still being out on track after he caused that first caution, as they are 3 wide and Preston Ford's in the middle. Not a smart idea, but they're keeping it together. I don't know how they're keeping it together, but they are. And now, oh, we got some pit stops happening. A lot of people who are up at the front are pitting. Rafael LeDuc, David Rivera, Dorian Facepuncher all pitting. And I don't know if Jessica Shelton pitted along with these guys or pitted first. Not so sure. But anyways, Kev Shearer still has the lead for now. But now Angel Alvera is going to take over the top spot for now, as more pit strategy is being brought into play here. This little group of cars that ends with JT Bryant. These guys have not pitted yet. Same with Alvera and Gardner, who have been in the top 10 most of the race. And now they are going to come into pit road. Anybody from who hasn't pitted yet going to stay out? No, looks like everybody's that hasn't pitted is coming into pit road. So this is going to be interesting, excuse me, to say the very least, to see who is all going to take the lead after all is said and done, as we see the first group of cars on the track after all that has happened. Some cars, it looked like I saw go 2 tires, maybe a couple went with gas only. And some taking 4 tires, so interesting strategy, like I said. It's all about track position at the end of the day. But now you gotta wonder how the field is going to look. Excuse me. How the field is going to look after all has happened. And Johnny Gardner, excuse me, actually now I think has the lead as a result of coming out of the pits first in his group. And it is Johnny Gardner is now your race leader, as we are a little bit of a third more than a third of the way through the race, getting close to halfway. So I guess while we're at it, let's actually take a look and see how the field looks now after this round of green flag pit stops. Johnny Gardner is your leader. Second is David Rivera. Third is Angel Alvera. Fourth, couple lap cars in between. Fourth is Grayson Acevedo. Fifth, Rafael LeDuc. Sixth, Mark Lane. Seventh, Dorian Facepuncher. Eighth, Kev Shearer, who looked like he made some contact with somebody on pit road. Then ninth, excuse me, is Emmanuel Hartnett. And then 10th now is going to be Cole Deaver. 11th is Phil Parker. 12th is Charles Jackson. 13th, Chris Michaels. 14th, Dougie Shears. 15th is JT Bryant. 16th, Jesse King. 17th, Benjamin Miles. 18th, Dylan Young. 19th, Reed Rowden. 20th, Preston Plord. 21st is now Jonathan Zorling. 22nd, Ashland Boyd. 23rd, Joshua Sekuli. 24th, Dylan Poteet. 25th, James Qualls. 26th, Nathaniel Reed. 27th, Anthony McCreary not having a good run, and the points leader's way up there at the front. So this could extend the points lead going into next week if where they're running right now stays. 28th, Matt Haas. 29th, DJ Curtis. 30th, Chris Dollarton. And then you got 31st, Dylan Thoreau. 32nd, Carson Gum. 33rd, Austin LaPlante. And then 34th, last car on the lead lap, is Seth Cole. But back up here at the front, it looks like it's going to be a 3-car fight for the lead right now. Gardner, Rivera, and Olvera up here at the front. And then way further back is Rafael Leduc in 4th, along with Ace Vedo, Face Puncher, and Lane all running right up here with him. There's Trent Dunham, who has no hood, but he's not as slow as, say, Matt McIntyre. Same with Jessica Sheldon, who also was in some contact with the 1 car. But they're both a lap or more down at this point. But back up here at the front, they're catching Seth Cole, who I don't think is damaged. I just think that, well, actually, let's go take an onboard shot. Nah, he does have a slight buckle on his hood. So he must have made contact. I think he may have been the one that made contact with Kev Shearer. But now they're back up here to the back bumper of the 24 of Matt McIntyre, and this might help bring the 55 and company up here to the front, and it is. But David, oh my god! Oh my god, huge crash! And the points leader, Rafael Leduc, was involved. Oh my god, they're coming back up the track! Oh my god, this is horrible. Holy cow, what in the world just happened? Oh my god, more cars are coming in. Oh my god, and we got a log jam going into turn 1. More wrecking. They are still crashing, and that almost took out the entire field. Oh my god. A lot of cars damaged goods after that. Oh my god, we were seeing a good comeback from those guys who didn't quite get going on the restart, catching back up to the leaders after contact, or after getting held up, the leaders getting held up by Matt McIntyre. But I got a feeling Matt McIntyre caused this wreck again, or caused another wreck, as I'm trying to see who's going to come out of pit road first. And I think it's going to be Grayson Ace Vedo in the 55 Mountain Dew Dodge. So Grayson Ace Vedo is going to be your new leader when we get back to racing. And then David Rivera 2nd, Dorian Facepuncher 3rd, then it's Johnny Gardner and Dougie Shears the top 5. But I got a feeling we're going to have less than half a field now after whatever it was that just happened. But let's go ahead and find out what happened as we take a look and see what brought the caution out for the 2nd time tonight here at Charlotte. Well, here's a look at what happened. Maybe it wasn't the 24's fault. Well, maybe for holding them up, but the contact actually starts with Johnny Gardner. He ends up getting into the 24, who in turn gets into the 98 of Seth Cole, and they both hit very hard. And then Mark Lane and Rafael Leduc both hit hard into both cars, and Dorian Facepuncher just snuck through there and somehow avoided everything. But tough break for Rafael Leduc, who came in running really strong in this race, and now another week of bad luck. And then as he is up the track, look at all that. Teammate Chris Michaels, hard flip, and then Cole Deaver, who had a hard hit. And whoa, Emmanuel Hartnett went flying up into the air for a second. So did, I think, Phil Parker. But look at all the carnage that ensues as everyone just continues to pile in. Hard hit for Phil Parker, and then we're going to get more of the action. Anthony McCrory was even involved in this as well. But watch Chris Dollarton. Hard hit into McCrory, and then into quals. Dylan Thoreau slammed into the 23. Carson Gunn, DJ Curtis all got caught up in this. And they were just still wrecking. Austin LaPlante's going to come flying in. Barely scrapes Phil Parker, and then he's going to come in. Try and slow up. He's on the brakes, but then he sees the 56 coming down. And then they make contact. So much carnage took place in this whole entire ordeal. But man, oh man. And Chris Michaels took a vicious flip. Let's actually watch how it happens. Oh my God! That was a hard hit from Cole Deaver. Cole Deaver just completely demolished the 17. Let's actually go to the 92 and see how fast he was going whenever he slammed into the 17. He was slowing up, but he hit him driver's side first at 160 miles an hour. And that was like a real fast, violent flip for the 17. Watch that, and then actually flipped up and hit the 99 as he was flipping. And there you see, I think it was some contact between the 20 and the 22 that sent the 20 going flying up like as if he hit a dirt ramp. And it was almost like as if whenever the 99 came back up the racetrack and was in the middle of the racetrack, that was when all this aftermath really got going. But my goodness, Cole Deaver delivered probably one of the hardest hits into a door of a driver that I have ever seen. That was quite brutal. We're actually going to take a couple of onboards through this. We're actually going to go on board with 3 drivers. We're going to go on board with Chris Dollerton, Cole Deaver, and Dorian Facepuncher. On board with Dorian Facepuncher as he somehow snuck his way through this wreck. Watch this. Wow. Great driver awareness right there. On board with Chris Dollerton, and he was way in the back when this wreck happened. And then there you see the crash and the smoke. And then watch as he's going to fly into this mess. Man, hard hit into the 61. My God. And finally on board with Cole Deaver, who delivered the vicious hit into the 17. Watch this. This is going to hurt. Wow. Cole was just an innocent bystander in that. He had no idea the 17 was going to run into there and then come right in front of him as he was slowing down. Well, after that last vicious crash, we only have 24 cars left in the field, so all the drivers out of the race as of that accident were Carson Gum, Emmanuel Hartnett, Cole Deaver, Phil Parker, Rafael Leduc, Chris Michaels, Mark Lane, James Qualls, Anthony McCrory, Chris Dollerton, Dylan Thoreau, Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, and Matt McIntyre as they joined Nelson Thornhill, Charles Sanford, Sean Galligan, and Joshua Collard. But 24 cars left in the field, and 22 on the lead lap. Grayson Acevedo is your leader. Second is David Rivera. Third, Dorian Facepuncher. Fourth, Johnny Gardner. Fifth, Dougie Shears. Sixth, Angel Alvarez. Seventh, Charles Jackson. Eighth, Dylan Poteet. Ninth, Kev Shearer. 10th is Dylan Young. So we're just past halfway. We're coming to take 26 laps to go here in the Coke 600. Still plenty of time for something to happen. And the green flag is back out. Grayson Acevedo got off to a great jump on that restart and pulls away from David Rivera and company. But those two slower lap machines of Zach Rogers, Jessica Sheldon holding up everyone. And Sheldon actually going to go underneath Rogers, but in turn is holding up everyone behind them. So only the top 4 are breaking away from everyone else. And whoa, pit stops. Immediately after the caution happened, they're coming back to pit again. This could be short pitting to try and make it the rest of the way, maybe. Interesting strategy on the part of those guys, but only a few people are still out there on the racetrack. I think half the field's in the pits, half are still on track. And now David Rivera takes the lead over from Grayson Acevedo with Johnny Gardner right behind him. Gardner's had a strong car all night. He's been up here in the top 5 virtually the entire race. Dorian Facepuncher's been in the top 10 most of the race, and he's in contention to win his second win of the season, third in his Marvel Studios Cup Series career. He won plenty of times in Walmart Cup. But anyways, now we got a battle for second. Grayson Acevedo underneath of Gardner as Rivera still leads the way. But yeah, I'm going to be intrigued to see how this potential short pitting strategy was for guys like Matt Haas, Dylan Poteet, and so on. But Reed Ralden's back into pit road, and I think he got a piece of whatever happened during that huge crash, or it could have been a pit road deal, as Ashland Boyd is pretty slow. But then again, I think he is just trying to get back up to speed after pitting. But now back up here at the front, Gardner's back up to the back bumper of the 6. Only 13 cars on the lead lap now as a result of all that. And only a couple guys a lap down, and a lot of people 2 laps down, so I'm going to be curious to see what will happen if these leaders are going to have to pit again, as it's 20 laps to go now. We're 2/3 of the way through. David Rivera still leading the way, but now is right up to the back bumper of Ashland Boyd, who is up to speed for the most part, but still is a little bit slow. I think he got a little piece of whatever was during that big wreck or during the caution on pit road with somebody. And now the 10 goes a lap down. So there you have it there. But anyways, David Rivera still leads, but now here comes Grayson Acevedo with the run to the inside. And we also have a battle for third with Gardner and Face Puncher, and Gardner's gonna go by for that spot. But now they're up here to JT Bryant, and oh my goodness, oh no! Oh my goodness, that just took out a lot of the leaders. Gardner has been taken out. Oh my lord. Hard hits, and we just got another big wreck, and this is going to completely shrink the field up. A ton of cars were in that one. JT Bryant took out 2 of the leaders. Well, actually, I think virtually only 1. David Rivera is still running, but he may have a little bit of damage. But Johnny Gardner, who had such high hopes, was running really strong, and now is junk. And we're probably going to have less than 20 cars, or maybe even only 15 left in the race after what just happened there. And another hard hit was given to JT Bryant, I think by Dougie Shears. But now everybody that's left, essentially, is coming into pit road. Grayson Acevedo is the leader. Let's see what he's going to do. So far, gas and 2 tires. Yeah, gas and 2 tires stopped for the 55. Then the person running in second was Dorian Face Puncher. Let's see what he's doing. I think either or he's going to be coming out in a spot behind. 2 tires and gas. David Rivera, I guess any damage he sustained wasn't so bad, so he'll still get to potentially contend for the win. Even though he got ran up into the wall by the 22. But my goodness, we've barely got a field left in this biggest race, longest race of the season. I guess we're going to go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the 3rd time tonight here at Charlotte. Well, here's a look at what happened. So the leaders were approaching the slower machine of JT Bryant through the dog leg, and then right there, JT Bryant, I don't think he realized the 6 was coming up to his outside and came up into the 6 and just ended up somehow collecting David Rivera, Johnny Gardner, Dylan Poteet, who are running in the top 5, top 10. And, but the worst is yet to come. Watch as the 22 and the 83, oh my goodness, he hit JT Bryant even harder than what Deaver hit on Chris Michaels earlier. He hit him in the right rear wheel at 170 or so miles an hour right there. And oh my goodness, did the 2 go underneath the 22? see if we can get a camera shot of that. Kinda. He did kinda go underneath his teammate. But my goodness, and the hard hits were just beginning for the 22. Look at him. He went spinning like a top. And then hit the safer barrier hard. Comes back down in front of Angel Oliveira, who also hits really hard. And he went up into the air in the 22, went airborne again. That was at about 140 miles an hour. So JT took two to three hard hits in this crash. And then there you see everyone stacking up. Zorleen gets involved, and then Kev Shear kind of gets sandwiched in between Benjamin Miles and Angel Oliveira, but he's still able to continue. But let's go back to how this starts one last time. Yeah, the 22 is just trying to get up to the high side, but he doesn't realize David Rivera was right there. And then David Rivera gets into the 15. I think he's still going to be off the pace, I think, because he did hit the outside wall pretty hard, but I don't know. We'll see. Stranger things have happened, but Dorian Face Puncher, 2 straight wrecks, barely gets involved in that one. I think he got a little brushing. Yeah, a little brushing from his teammate JT Bryant, but in turn, I think that actually helped the 62 miss all that, because if he didn't get that little brush, he probably would have run right into the back of both the 15 and the 6, but the 62 still surviving after all this. But yeah, tough break for a lot of these guys, and we're probably going to have only about less than 10 cars left on track, I bet. Let's actually find out. Let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at the Coke 600. Well, after that last caution, more cars out, including Charles Jackson, Kev Shear's out, Dougie Shears, Angel Oliveira, JT Bryant, Nathaniel Reed. Still got a lot of the cars left, but only 7 on the lead lap. And those 7 are Grayson Acevedo, Dorian Face Puncher, David Rivera, Jonathan Zorleen, Austin LaPlante somehow, Jesse King, and Preston Plord. And then we got a lot of lap or more down cars. So essentially, it's going to come down to, in my mind, the top 2, Acevedo or Face Puncher, because I'm not so sure about Rivera, as the green flag is back out. But we're actually going to watch Rivera and see if he can keep up, even though he hit the outside wall pretty hard in that crash. But it looks like he is up to speed, so he's still going to contend for this win, as he's running underneath of the 62 for the second spot, and might be able to challenge Grayson Acevedo with these lap cars in front of him. And Austin LaPlante, how in the world is he up here? He was in the big one, or the huge one, a couple cautions ago. I saw him get damaged, but he's somehow up to speed and he's battling for the win. Holy cow! We could be in for something special, and we still don't, and we're not even 10 laps left. We're getting close to 10 to go, but man, we still got a long way. So it looks like this race is essentially going to come down to the top 4. Face Puncher, LaPlante, Acevedo, and Rivera. Only 7 cars on the lead lap. Let's see where Zorleen's running. There he is, who's 5th. Reed Rowden's still going on and off pit road. And there you see Jesse King, Preston Plord, as they're both battling for 6th place. And those are the last 2 lead lap cars left on track. As like I said, everyone else is a lap or more down after extended stays on pit road, as well as being lapped from earlier. But now Grayson Acevedo has the lead once again. Face Puncher in second, then LaPlante. And then David Rivera has kind of lost ground a little bit, as he got slightly sent backwards, as he's now behind 3 of the lap cars, Matt Haas, Ashland Boyd, and Benjamin Miles. But he's still up to speed, so he can maybe still work his way back up there. He's just got to hope for some of these guys up here to start battling. And speaking of battles, we got one now. For the second spot between Austin LaPlante and Dorian Face Puncher. And LaPlante goes to the point for the second spot, and now might have a run on Grayson Acevedo potentially. And now Face Puncher is going to get challenged by a car 2 laps down, Ashland Boyd, who is running 9th. So good run for Ashland Boyd in the 10th despite being 2 laps down. And David Rivera still hoping for a miracle, even though he's losing ground. But back up here, LaPlante is thinking about making the move, but he's maybe waiting for the right moment as we're winding down the laps here after a chaotic Coca-Cola 600. Dorian Facepuncher making a comeback as he's about to go underneath Ashland Boyd to keep him behind them and try to focus on catching up to the 48 and the 55, but they may run into the 38. Maybe not. They somehow avoid the 38 as he was coming in the off pit road, but now he's going back in the pit road. I don't know why he keeps going on and off pit road. I guess they're still trying to sparingly repair the damage to survive, and now battle for the lead. LaPlante goes to the point again. Ace Vedo drops to second, and here comes Facepuncher. He's going to have a run potentially on the inside. Not quite yet, but still has hope. And David Rivera, I think he's pretty much done for because he's not able to catch up to the top guys. He's losing a lot of time. So that's going to be down to the top 3, Ace Vedo, Facepuncher, or LaPlante. And Facepuncher, my goodness, this is going to be a huge points night. Came in 58 points behind the points lead. Most of the top 5 in the points are out of the race. McCrory out, LeDuc out, Michaels out, Hartnett out, I believe. Yeah, he is out. So the only of the top 5 left running is Facepuncher. He's in second. He might be going for the lead, but they're right up to the back bumper of Dylan Poteet, and what an evasive maneuver by Ace Vedo. That might have sealed the deal, potentially. Grayson Ace Vedo somehow got by Dylan Poteet, and that holds up Dorian Facepuncher. He's still getting held up and nearly made contact with Benjamin Miles, and oh, careful. Okay, he gets through. I thought he was going to be another victim of that circumstance. But I think that just sealed the deal for Grayson Ace Vedo because he's got a lap car between himself and Austin LaPlante. LaPlante is hoping for another miracle. Well, he might get it. They're battling up in front of him. White flag is out. Oh my goodness, this could get really bad if they're not careful. Ace Vedo has got 2 lanes blocked, and LaPlante is right there. LaPlante is right there to the back bumper. But Ace Vedo's stuck 3 wide in the middle. This is not good. Here comes LaPlante with the run to the inside. Oh my goodness. Contact. Ace Vedo gets taken out. Ace Vedo got taken out. Austin LaPlante wins the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte as we had chaos ensue on the last lap as they still crash. Grayson Ace Vedo. Oh man, that is so heartbreaking. He had that win potentially wrapped up, and then he got slowed up and he got spun, I believe, from contact from the 48. So LaPlante got through that and pulled off the W. Oh my goodness, that was a wild finish. It was going to be close if they didn't crash, but holy cow. Austin LaPlante in the 48. Ironically, the 48's the home driver of this track. He gets his first win this season here at Charlotte. Holy cow. That was crazy. But let's look at the rest of the results. Dorian Facepuncher gets a great points day run in second. I have a feeling he's going to catch a ton of ground up to the points lead. I don't think the points lead's really going to change all that much. It's just going to be probably closer among a group of drivers. But anyways, David Rivera, great run in third despite getting into the previous caution. Grayson Ace Vedo still crossed the line fourth as he was wrecking, but man, you gotta feel for him. He was en route to potentially getting his first win of his Marvel Studios Cup Series career, and it just got snatched away from him. And then Jonathan Zorling, the last car to finish on the lead lap, in fifth. The rest of the cars in the top 10 were a lap or more down. Preston Blord gets a great points day. Same with DJ Curtis and Jesse King, Ashland Boyd, and Matt Haas. So solid runs for those guys across the board despite being lapped down or more. Rest of the cars that finished the race that were lapped were Joshua Sekuli, Dylan Young, Benjamin Miles, Dylan Poteet, Zach Rogers, Jessica Shelton, Johnny Gardner, and Reed Rowden. And everyone else was out of the race after all 3 crazy wrecks that happened that caused cautions. And they were Charles Jackson, Kev Shearer, Dougie Shears, Angel Alvera, JT Bryant, Nathaniel Reed, Carson Gum, Emmanuel Hartnett, Cole Deaver, Phil Parker, Rafael Leduc, Chris Michaels, Mark Lane, James Qualls, Anthony McCrory, Chris Dollarton, Dylan Thoreau, Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, Matt McIntyre, Nelson Thornhill, Charles Sanford, Sean Galligan, and Joshua Collard. So, wild and chaotic Coca-Cola 600 here at Charlotte. Thank you guys for watching. Next race, we head to a brand new track. We're going to go to Iowa Speedway for the first time ever on this channel, so that should be fun. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Iowa. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.